Hello and welcome to the Industry Trends Summary for June 2016. This is part of our priority report vision for having one segment about the association side, one about CUSG offerings, and a third that has to do with industry trends affecting credit unions. This month we're focusing on credit union trends in the areas of savings, lending, and compliance. We also have these other reports that I mentioned for the MCUL specifically and for CUSG, and we encourage you to take the time to watch those updates each month also. So last month, the Federal Reserve released its 2015 Economic Well-Being Report, and the results are worth noting for credit unions. According to the report, an astounding 21% of all Americans are underbanked and 8% are completely unbanked. For those 8% that are unbanked, that means they have no checking account or savings account or access to affordable credit. When it comes to the unbanked, this means that these consumers may have a depository account, but they're relying heavily on alternative financial services providers. Services like check cashing and payday lenders, money transfer services at higher costs, and other services that take advantage of the unbanked and underbanked. According to the study, 77% of adults who used an alternative financial service last year either used money orders or international remittance services. The Federal Reserve report revealed another alarming statistic. Nearly half of all U.S. adults aren't prepared to handle a $400 expense. We've seen this kind of data before, and it is very disturbing. 47% of survey respondents told the Fed they couldn't pay for a $400 emergency, with 38% saying they'd put the expense on a credit card to pay it off later, and 31% saying they wouldn't pay for the expense at all. They wouldn't be able to. The rest responded that they would either seek loans from family members or from a financial institution if they could get it. Now, in my June Michigan Credit Union League and CUSG annual meeting presentation, I shared a number of other compelling statistics and stories that help make a strong connection between the financial plight of consumers and families and the work that credit unions and their support organizations are doing to position credit unions as the best solution. You can view my presentation in part or in entirety, section by section, on either the Michigan Credit Union League website at mcul.org or at the CUSG site at cusolutionsgroup.com. These compelling data show that there's a significant need for the services that credit unions provide, including financial education, small dollar loans, affordable credit, helping with saving and retirement planning, and many other affordable, consumer-friendly financial services. So turning to lending for a minute, if I can shift from that topic to lending, there's some good news. Credit unions are in a very different place from where they were 5 years ago or even 1 year ago, according to data from Callahan's. And this data from Callahan's shows that credit unions originated over $100 billion in loans to more than 105 million members during the first quarter of 2016. This is due mainly to strong consumer lending for autos and trucks, strong demand for credit cards, and for business lending, small business loans in particular. Overall, total loan originations are up 13%, and as of March of 2016, credit unions posted a new high of $809 billion in loan balances. Loan growth is fairly even across the U.S., but at a 13.4% increase, the West is leading by a significant margin, while the Midwest saw a 9.7% increase. Now, the NCUA has also released its first quarter data, which included more good news for Michigan credit unions. Lending was up 5.2% year over year, along with a 4% increase in deposit growth and almost a 4% increase in asset growth that corresponds, of course, with the savings growth. Membership growth rose slightly at 40 basis points, still much stronger than what we'd seen in past years, but these are very strong indicators and evidence, further evidence that credit unions are more and more attractive to consumers, and the economy has improved and lending is strong. So turning a bit more specifically to auto lending, it wasn't that long ago when some industry analysts advised lenders to brace themselves for an inevitable downturn in automobile sales. And we went through a very tough cycle, obviously, that crippled automakers, U.S. automakers in particular, and created so many challenges for our country, made it very difficult to have access to credit of all types, including auto financing. But now, as new car sales bump up 3% in the first quarter of 2016 Analysts are now predicting that new auto sales will reach 17.7 million this year. Credit unions are marking out their territory in auto lending, and instead of dealing with a decline, some say they can hardly deal with the volumes that they're seeing. However, that does not mean a downturn isn't on the horizon. Virtually all auto manufacturers, including the Detroit Three, have reported a dramatic slowdown in car sales. This has been offset by strong truck, SUV, and crossover sales for most manufacturers. According to CU Direct, the largest QSO that serves credit unions with indirect and direct lending solutions, CU Direct forecasts that from a number of industry reports that it's likely that new car sales will plateau in early 2017 and perhaps begin to decline, but not before hitting that 17.7 million units mark for 2016, which would once again break the year-over-year records for car and truck sales in the U.S. But this golden period may not extend into 2017 and beyond. That's the real message. Credit unions are now turning their focus to dealing with a potential decline in new car sales, and that may mean relying more on indirect lending and needing to revisit lending efforts with used vehicles or to support used vehicle purchases. So auto loans are the fastest growing segment of credit union lending portfolios, and they make up about 1/3 of total loans, just behind first mortgages. According to Callahan, in 2015, auto loan balances grew 14% year over year. Indirect lending is the primary driver of that growth and has doubled in the last decade, recently outpacing direct lending. So year over year, indirect lending saw an 18.8% growth rate, while direct lending rose by 7.6%. Now moving forward, lending managers say that streamlining their processes with more automation obviously is a top priority. Additionally, building relationships with dealers, paying attention to the market, and educating their organizations about the opportunities, the niche opportunities, those are some of the key priorities related to lending in credit unions. So as always, these are topics that are complex and ever-changing. We can't cover them in depth, but we wanted to share a few highlights on some things that seem to be really hot topics for credit unions in the current environment. If I look at it more broadly, however, it seems that the major trends affecting credit unions today have to do with concerns about rising interest rates, cybersecurity threats, data breach risks, internal fraud risks, continued new competitive challenges from all quarters, new regulations and the costs of complying, and the challenges associated with attracting and retaining top talent, as well as reducing or maintaining a reasonable turnover rate for frontline staff. Those are all issues that credit unions are trying to keep their hands around as they plan and execute to grow credit unions and to serve more people with the essential services offered by credit unions. We hope that CU Solutions Group can be your partner to help in many of these areas. Please check out our new solutions at cusolutionsgroup.com/new and consider us for any of your needs in areas of technology, marketing, and performance management. Thanks for watching.